galaxy had one unbreakable rule. Humans were not allowed to build warships. It was not a small rule. It was the most important law in the entire galaxy. Every advanced alien empire agreed on it. They believed humans were different from other species, too emotional, too unpredictable, too dangerous, so they decided to limit them. Humans could build trade ships, they could build mining vessels, they could even build small defense crafts, but warships? Never. At first, humanity accepted the rule. They did not argue, they did not fight, they did not protest. Instead, they smiled. They traded with alien worlds. They shared resources. They built friendships. To the rest of the galaxy, humans looked calm and cooperative. They looked like a young species that understood its place. But that was only what others saw. The truth was very different. Humans were watching. They were learning. Every meeting, every trade deal, every piece of technology, they studied everything. They listened carefully. They observed how alien fleets moved, how their weapons worked, how their defenses were built. They said nothing, but they remembered everything. Years passed like this, quiet, peaceful, controlled. Then one day, everything changed. Far from the center of the galaxy, near the dark edge of known space, there was a small human colony. It was not important to the alien empires. It was small, weak, and far away. That made it an easy target. A group of space pirates attacked the colony without warning. They came fast. Their ships surrounded the colony. Their weapons fired without mercy. Buildings were destroyed. Ships were torn apart before they could escape. The colony sent distress signals again and again. They called for help from anyone who could hear them. The signals reached nearby systems. They reached trade routes. They even reached the Great Alien Council, but no one came, not the powerful empires, not the advanced fleets, not the leaders who created the rules. No one moved. Some ignored the call. Some ignored the call. Some said it was not their problem. Some simply did not care. The attack continued. People ran. Families hid. Many tried to escape, but there were no strong ships to protect them. Only small defense crafts, not enough to stop pirates. Hundreds of lives were lost. By the time the pirates left, the colony was broken, burned, silent. When the news reached Earth, there was no anger at first, only silence, deep, heavy silence. Leaders, soldiers, and civilians all watched the reports. They saw the destruction. They heard the last messages from the colony, and slowly, something changed. It was not loud. It was not sudden, but it was real. Humanity realized something important, a simple truth. The rules they followed were never meant to protect them. They were meant to control them. The galaxy had decided that humans were too dangerous to have power, so they took that power away. And when humans needed help, no one came. That truth spread across Earth and every human world. People began to ask questions. Why follow rules that do not protect you? Why trust a system that leaves you to die? Why stay weak when others are strong? This time there were no public speeches, no big announcements, no open protests. Instead, something far more dangerous began. Quiet planning, hidden meetings, secret discussions. Human leaders gathered in secure rooms. Engineers, scientists, and commanders worked together in silence. They studied the law carefully. Every word, every line, every hidden meaning. They were not looking for a way to break it. They were looking for something smarter, a way around it. And slowly, they found it. A small gap in the rule, a weakness, something the alien empires never expected. And once humans saw it, they smiled again. But this time, it meant something very different. Because now humanity was no longer just watching. Now they were planning. After that day, humanity did not speak loudly. They did not send angry messages to the Alien Council. They did not demand justice. They did not threaten anyone. On the surface, everything looked normal. Trade ships still moved between systems. Human merchants still smiled and negotiated. Diplomats still attended meetings and followed every rule. But behind this calm face, everything had changed. Deep under cities, inside hidden facilities, and far away in quiet space stations, humans began their real work. They studied the law again. Humans are not allowed to build warships. That was the rule. Simple, clear, but humans looked deeper. What is a warship? The law never clearly explained it. It did not define size. It did not define weapons. It did not define purpose. It only used one word, warship, and that was the weakness. Human scientists, engineers, and legal experts worked together. They asked one question again and again. If we cannot build warships, what can we build? The answers started small. Cargo ships, mining vessels, exploration crafts, all allowed, all harmless at least on paper. So humans began designing new ships. They called them advanced cargo carriers. These ships were bigger than normal, stronger than needed. Their outer hulls were thicker, built to protect valuable goods. Inside, they had powerful energy systems to support long-distance travel. No one questioned it. Trade was important. Stronger ships made sense. Then came the next step. Mining vessels. Humans designed mining ships with high-energy laser systems. Officially, these lasers were used to break asteroids and collect resources, but those same lasers could cut through metal, could destroy ships. Again, everything was legal. Nothing broke the rule. Still, the designs continued to grow. Exploration ships were built with advanced shields. They were said to protect against unknown space dangers. In truth, those shields could stop powerful attacks. Piece by piece, slowly, carefully, humans were building something new. Not warships, but something very close. And still, no one stopped them. The alien empires noticed some changes. Reports came in. Human ships are becoming stronger. Their technology is improving too fast. Their designs look unusual. But every time the council checked, they found no violation. These are not warships, the humans said. And it was true. Frustratingly true. Years passed again. This time, humanity was not just learning. They were preparing. Training programs started in secret. Pilots were trained not just for trade routes, but for combat situations. Engineers tested systems under extreme conditions. Commanders studied alien battle tactics, quietly building strategies of their own. Everything stayed hidden behind peaceful words: trade, exploration, development. But inside those ships, inside those mines, something else was growing. Then came the first real test. A human convoy was traveling through a distant sector. It carried supplies, equipment, and people moving to a new colony, a normal mission. Or at least, it looked like one. The convoy had several large cargo ships and a few smaller support vessels. To outsiders, it looked weak, easy prey. And someone noticed. A pirate fleet moved in, fast, aggressive, confident. They had done this many times before. Human ships were always easy targets. Weak defenses. No real weapons. This would be quick. The pirates surrounded the convoy. They sent a simple message: stop your engines and surrender. Inside the human ships, there was no panic, no fear, only silence. Then a single command was given. The engines did not stop. Instead, they turned. The cargo ships changed formation, slowly, carefully. The pirates laughed until something unexpected happened. The human ships began to glow. Energy levels rose, hidden systems activated. Panels shifted, weapons appeared, not added, not attached, but revealed. The mining lasers powered up. The shields expanded. The engines pushed beyond normal limits. And suddenly, these were not helpless cargo ships anymore. They moved with purpose, with control, with precision. The pirates hesitated, just for a second. But that was enough. The humans attacked, fast, direct, unpredictable. The pirates were not ready. They had never seen anything like this. Ships that looked civilian, fighting like trained war fleets. One pirate ship was hit by a mining laser. It split apart instantly. Another tried to escape, but the human engines were faster. Within minutes, the battle was over. The convoy was safe. The pirates were gone, destroyed or running. Silence returned to space. But this silence was different, because now the galaxy had seen something new, something dangerous, something unexpected. And far away, in the halls of the Alien Council, questions began to rise. Serious questions, because for the first time, they were not sure anymore. Were humans still following the rules, or had they already changed them? News of the battle did not stay hidden for long. At first, it spread slowly. Small reports, broken signals, confused messages from pirate survivors. Then it grew. A full convoy of human cargo ships had destroyed an armed pirate fleet. That was not normal. That was not possible. The story reached trade stations, then military outposts, and finally, the Alien Council. Inside the Great Chamber, leaders from many worlds gathered. Some were calm, some were angry, some were afraid. A recording of the battle was shown. The room became silent. They watched as human ships moved in perfect formation. They saw weapons appear from places where no weapons should exist. They saw pirates' experienced fighters fall apart in minutes. When the recording ended, no one spoke for a long time. Finally, one council member broke the silence. These are warships. Another quickly replied, "No, they are not." The argument began. "They are armed. They are powerful. They fight like a fleet. What else could they be? But the law is clear. Humans cannot build warships. These ships are registered as cargo vessels in mining units." That is a lie. It is not a lie. It is a different design. The debate grew louder. Some demanded action. "We must stop them now, before it is too late." Others were unsure. "They have not broken the rule. If we act without proof, we risk conflict." Conflict, one leader said sharply. "Did you not see that battle? We may already be too late." The council decided to investigate. They sent observers, advanced scanning ships, intelligence units. Their mission was simple: study human ships, find the truth, prove they were warships, and then act. The observers arrived quietly. They watched human trade routes. They scanned shipyards. They followed fleets from a safe distance. At first, everything looked normal. Cargo ships carried goods. Mining vessels collected resources. Exploration crafts traveled into deep space. Nothing unusual, nothing illegal. But the observers kept watching, and slowly, they started to notice things. The ships were too strong. Their energy output was higher than needed for civilian work. Their hulls were thicker than standard designs. Their movements were precise, too precise. These were not just ships built for work. They were built for something more. The observers sent reports back to the council. Human ships show signs of advanced combat readiness. No direct violation of the law detected. Purpose unclear, but design suggests dual function. The council grew more divided. Some leaders felt fear growing inside them. They are preparing for war. Others still held to the law. We cannot punish them for what they might do. Meanwhile, humanity continued its work. New ships were launched every month, bigger, faster, smarter, and always with the same answer when questioned: "These are not warships." Then came another moment, a test. But this time, it was not pirates. One of the smaller alien empires, proud, powerful, and easily angered, decided to act on its own. They believed the council was weak, too slow, too afraid. So they made a choice. They would confront humanity directly. A fleet was sent toward a human-controlled system. Not a full invasion, but a show of power, a warning. When the fleet arrived, they expected fear. They expected human ships to retreat, to hide, to obey. Instead, they found something waiting. A group of human ships stood near the edge of the system, silent, still, watching. The alien commander sent a message: "You are developing illegal warships. Power down your vessels and prepare for inspection." No answer. The message was repeated. Still no answer. The alien fleet moved closer, weapons ready. Tension filled the space between them. Then a signal came from the human ships, a simple message: "We are operating within the law." The alien commander felt anger rise. "This is your final warning." No response. The distance closed. And then the human ships moved, not away, forward. Their engines flared to life. Their formation shifted instantly, perfect, controlled, ready. The alien fleet paused. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Scanners tried to read the human ships again. Same result. Cargo vessels, mining ships, exploration crafts. Nothing more. But the way they moved, that told a different story. The alien commander gave the order: "Prepare weapons." And at that exact moment, human ships powered up. Energy surged across their hulls. Hidden systems came alive. And for the second time, the truth began to show itself. The galaxy had created a rule to control humanity. But now, standing face to face in open space, it was becoming clear. Humans had not just found a way around the rule. They had turned it into something else. Something stronger, something dangerous. And now, there was no turning back. For a few long seconds, nothing moved. Both fleets faced each other in silence. On one side, a trained alien war fleet built for battle, tested in many conflicts. On the other side, human ships, cargo vessels, mining units, exploration crafts. At least, that is what they were called. But no one believed that anymore. The alien commander watched carefully. His instincts told him something was wrong. Very wrong. Still, he had come too far to turn back. "Lock targets," he ordered. Weapons across the alien fleet, powered up. Energy built along their cannons. Target systems focused on the human ships. Across the dark space, red warning signals filled the human sensors. Inside the human fleet, there was no panic, only calm voices, short commands, clear movements. Every ship knew its place. Every pilot knew the plan. Because this moment, had been prepared for years. The first shot came from the alien fleet. A bright beam of energy cut across space, aimed at the lead human ship. It hit. A direct hit. The explosion lit up the darkness. For a brief moment, it looked like the human ship was gone, but then the light faded, and the ship was still there. Its shields held. Stronger than expected. Stronger than expected. Stronger than they should be. The alien commander's eyes narrowed. "That is not a civilian shield," he said quietly. Before he could give another order, the humans responded. Not with fear, not with warning, but with action. The human fleet moved as one. Their formation broke apart, then reformed in seconds. Fast, smooth, perfect. The alien fleet tried to adjust, but they were already behind. Human ships accelerated suddenly, reaching speeds that cargo vessels should never reach. Mining ships turned, their heavy frames moving like light fighters. And then, the weapons came alive. Mining lasers fired first, but these were not slow, heavy beams meant for rocks. They were sharp, focused, precise. One alien ship was hit along its side. Its armor melted instantly. Systems failed. The ship drifted out of formation. Then came more. Hidden cannons opened along the human ships. Energy pulses, fast and controlled, struck key points on enemy vessels. Engines, weapons, shields, not random attacks. Targeted strikes, smart strikes. The alien fleet tried to return fire, but something was wrong. Their targeting system struggled. The human ships moved in strange patterns, unpredictable, different from any known combat style. They did not follow standard formations. They did not repeat movements. It was like fighting something, alive, something that learned with every second. The alien commander realized the truth too late. "These are not modified civilian ships," he said. "These were designed for this." The battle did not last long. It was not because the alien fleet was weak. It was because they were not ready. They had trained to fight warships. They had studied known strategies. They had prepared for normal battles. But this was something new. Human ships used everything at once. Speed, strength, surprise, surprise. They combined civilian design with military thinking. They broke every expectation. One by one, alien ships lost power. Some were disabled. Some were damaged beyond repair. A few tried to escape. The human fleet allowed it. Not by mistake, but by choice. Because this battle was not about destruction. It was a message. After the fight, silence returned again. The human ships regrouped. Calm, controlled, untouched for the most part. The alien fleet was broken. Not destroyed completely, but defeated, clearly, completely. The surviving alien ships retreated, carrying the story with them, a story that would spread across the galaxy faster than any signal. Back in the council chamber, panic began to grow. The reports came in quickly. They engaged a human fleet. They opened fire first. They lost. Silence filled the chamber once again, but this time it was not confusion. It was fear, real fear. One leader spoke in a low voice. "They defeated a military fleet without using warships." Another replied, "Then what are they using?" No one had an answer, because the truth was hard to accept. Humans had followed the rules, every word, every line, and still, they had built something stronger than warships. Some members of the council demanded immediate action. "We must change the law now." "It is too late for that," another answered. "They are already ahead. They tricked us." No, they understood us. Far away in human space, there were no celebrations, no loud victory speeches, no signs of pride, only quiet work, more ships being built, more systems being tested, more plans being made, because humanity knew something the rest of the galaxy was only beginning to understand. This was not the end. This was only the beginning. And now, for the first time, the galaxy was no longer watching humans as a weak species. Now, they were watching them with fear, because humans had done the impossible. They had obeyed the rules, and still, they had become unstoppable. The galaxy had changed, though no one fully realized it yet. Across the stars, news of the human fleet's victory spread like fire. It traveled faster than any signal. Traders, explorers, and even spies carried the story from system to system. Every alien race began to whisper the same words. Humans are dangerous. Humans are clever. Humans cannot be controlled. Yet humanities cannot be controlled. Yet humanity said nothing. They did not boast. They did not demand recognition. They simply prepared. On Earth, in the secure command centers, human leaders and engineers worked tirelessly. Every system in the fleet had been tested. Every crew member had been trained. Every strategy had been rehearsed. They were ready, because they knew the galaxy would not forget their victory, and some, sooner or later, would come to challenge them. That day came sooner than expected. One of the strongest alien empires, the Dralaxian sovereignty, decided that humans needed to be reminded of their place. Their leaders had grown impatient with the Council's hesitation. They believed fear would keep humans obedient, so they sent their fleet. It was enormous. Hundreds of ships, armed to the teeth, each one built to destroy entire colonies in a single strike. Their weapons glowed like molten fire, and their shields shimmered with layers of energy humans had only observed from afar. The Dralaxians believed victory would be easy. They underestimated humanity. As the alien fleet approached, human scouts detected them immediately. Every sensor in the human system lit up. Commanders studied the enemy formations. Engineers calculated energy outputs. Pilots checked their thrusters. Humanity did not panic. They never did. The human fleet moved into position, not one ship out of place. Every vessel knew its role. Every cannon, laser, and shield was ready. The alien fleet opened fire first. Bright beams of energy tore through space, cutting across the darkness, aimed at the leading human ships. The first human vessel took a hit. Its hull shook violently, sparks flying from damaged panels, but the shields held. The ship glided forward, unbroken. Then, the humans responded. It began slowly, almost like a dance. The cargo ships accelerated. The mining vessels pivoted. Exploration crafts shifted, revealing hidden weapons. Shields flared with a blinding glow. Systems fired in coordinated bursts. The aliens' first attacks were deflected, absorbed, or redirected. The Dralaxian commanders could hardly believe their scanners. They are fighting back. With civilian ships? One whispered, voice shaking. Impossible, said another. They must be lying about their capabilities. But it was not a lie. It was strategy. Humans had not only learned how to fight, they had perfected it. They had studied alien tactics, weaknesses, and patterns for years. Every movement was calculated. Every strike was precise. Every shield was precise. Every shield was positioned to maximize defense. The battle escalated quickly. Human ships struck first, targeting engines and weapons on the Dralaxian fleet. Mining lasers, disguised as industrial tools, tore through enemy hulls. Cargo shields, hardened far beyond normal standards, blocked devastating energy blasts. Exploration craft, nimble and fast, darted between larger vessels, striking weak points no alien engineer had ever imagined. Alien ships began to fall. One by one, they drifted disabled in the void. Some tried to escape, but human engines were faster. They intercepted fleeing ships before they could jump to hyperspace. The alien commanders were panicked. Their fleets, once feared across the galaxy, were crumbling, and it was not luck. It was human design. It was human planning. It was human courage. Hours passed, and the Dralaxian fleet's strength was shattered. They were forced to retreat. Many ships never returned to their homeworld. The surviving commanders had no choice but to send messages of surrender, not because they had been beaten entirely, but because they had no confidence left in their ability to fight humans again. Back on Earth, no one celebrated with noise or fanfare. There were no parades, no flags waving. The human leaders and crew knew this was bigger than victory. This was a turning point. The galaxy had just witnessed what humans could achieve, not by breaking the rules, but by rewriting them quietly, intelligently, and boldly. The humans understood something their enemies would never admit aloud. Fear could no longer control them. Respect, perhaps. Caution, certainly. But fear? That belonged to humans now. And yet, humanity did not stop. They continued to build. They continued to train. They continued to expand their knowledge, their fleets, and their strategies, because they understood a simple truth. One battle, even a great victory, was never enough. The galaxy was watching, and the galaxy would never forget. For the first time, every species knew humans were not just clever, humans were not just unpredictable. Humans were unstoppable, and the rules of the galaxy had already begun to change. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Every report, every message, every story told across the stars carried the same truth. Humans had defeated fleets that were far stronger, far larger, far more experienced, and they had done it without breaking a single law. The alien councils met in panic. For the first time in recorded history, leaders from dozens of empires gathered, not to celebrate but to decide how to contain humanity. Some argued for new laws, harsher and clearer than before. Humans must be stopped, one ambassador hissed. We cannot let them continue this. If we allow them to build more ships, we are finished. Others shook their heads. You cannot stop what you do not understand, said another. They have not broken any rules. Every law we pass will only teach them to adapt faster. Humanity has become smarter than us. Fear rippled across the galaxy. Meanwhile, humans did not wait for permission. They did not ask for approval. They continued their work quietly, deliberately, perfectly. Every fleet, every shipyard, every pilot and engineer knew their place. Every weapon, shield, and engine was tested. Every strategy had been planned for every possible enemy. Humans were ready, and the galaxy knew it. Then came the moment that would change everything. A council delegation approached human space not with weapons, not with threats, but with a formal demand. Humans, you must explain your fleet. Are these warships? The human leader responded calmly. They are not warships, he said. They are exploration, mining, and cargo vessels, all registered and fully legal. The council delegation looked uneasy. Some whispered behind closed hands. Others simply stared. But your fleet, you ships fought like warships, one ambassador said. We obeyed every law, the human leader replied. But we also learned that laws are only words. Strategy and intelligence are what make a fleet strong. That is what we applied. The room fell silent. For the first time, the galaxy realized a terrible truth. Humans did not need permission to be powerful. Humans did not need laws to be unstoppable. They had rewritten the rules, not by changing them, but by understanding them better than anyone else. Across the stars, humans quietly expanded their influence. They built new colonies, established trade routes, and trained new fleets, all within the law. Yet everyone knew these ships were more than they seemed. They were a warning. They were proof. They were humanity's statement. We will survive. We will grow. And we will not be controlled. Alien fleets that had once laughed at human weaknesses now studied their every move. No species could challenge humans openly. They could only guess, adapt, or hope to avoid confrontation. Humanity's rise was silent, deliberate, unstoppable. Every system they touched, every fleet they launched, was stronger than the last. Every battle, if it came, would be fought on human terms. And the aliens began to change their behavior. No longer could they assume humans would obey quietly. No longer could they expect compliance. Respect was no longer optional. Fear was no longer enough. Human leaders did not celebrate with fanfare. They did not hold parades. Victory was not a moment in time, it was a process, a slow, unstoppable march across the stars. Every human ship that left a shipyard carried the same message. Intelligence, strategy, and determination could achieve what brute force alone could not. For the first time in history, the galaxy understood something it had always underestimated. Humans were not just clever. Humans were not just brave. Humans were not just brave. Humans were different, unpredictable, adaptable, relentless. And from that day forward, no law could truly bind them. No empire could control them. No fleet could fully defeat them. The humans had obeyed the law, but they had also rewritten it. Not with words, not with arguments, but with action, with intelligence, with vision. They had turned limits into opportunities, weakness into strength, control into freedom. And the galaxy, large, old, and powerful, was forced to admit the truth. Humanity had changed the rules forever. The alien council would continue to debate, empires would continue to plot, and fleets would continue to patrol. But one fact remained: humans were no longer just another species in the galaxy. They were the species that had redefined power itself, and they had done it silently, brilliantly, and completely within the rules. From that day on, humans were no longer the species the galaxy could underestimate. They were the species to respect, to fear, and, most importantly, to watch. Because humans did not just survive, humans thrived, humans thrived, humans won, and no one, no empire, no fleet, no law would ever forget it.